is 𝗬𝗘𝗟𝗢𝗔𝗡 Day, Sacred Saturn Day. Let's take a deep divine dive. It is the Foundation Day, the Sustainability Day. And don't I have a question for you? What was I finna say? Oh, what was the question? Hold on. Okay. Can the life I am asking for safely land on the foundation that I've built? Come on, get in my love boat and let's go to the sea, the self-emotional apothecary, because, bays, we finna make some waves. Hey, gourmetbae, what's up? Bae, being aligned every day, period. It is 𝗬𝗔𝗟𝗓𝗔𝗡 Day in the 7 days of self-gasms. This 7 days of self-gasms, guided awareness, sparking metamorphosis, the process, the result of change, changing in form. We are always evolving, so there's not ever a peak. And while I've been in a divine flow, I said, you know what? Let me go ahead. Let's go ahead and, be the embodiment. I'm just so okay. My head itching, so yeah, confirmation. So boom. Can the life I'm asking for safely land on the foundation that I've built? And then you ask yourself, what needs my attention so that what I'm building has somewhere stable to stay? And that could be whatever needs your attention. Could be money, your home, your boundaries, your schedule, your business, your rest, your commitments, okay? And dreams aren't made less spiritual because you create systems for them. So there's infrastructure within the structure. With the 𝗬𝗘𝗟𝗢𝗔𝗡, okay, we have the Gourmet Handy Dandy G book. We have the Root Chakra G book. And the affirmations here: I am safe, I am secure, I am rooted, I am enough, period. I am grounded, I am protected, I am supported, I am stable, I am home, I am divinely anchored, I am my foundation, I am source. Now, we are resources of source, but we are the source. And this G book, it actually becomes where you ground your vision into physical action. Same as what I did. I had no idea that the previous years I'd been developing up until this point, that what I was building was actually being something safe to land on, because a lot of my safety nets, a lot of my security that I once had fell through. What was once my foundation, what was once my structure, ended up not being my structure anymore. I had to develop a new structure to where it made sense. And at the rate that I was going and what I was building at first, it wasn't actually making sense, because I was attached to an identity. And once that identity had been stripped from me, well, then the question begs, that you have to ask yourself, and you have to take a deep divine into, well, who am I really? What actually makes me feel safe? What does security look like for me? Financial security, emotional security, physical security. What does these things look like for me? Spiritual security. What does safety look like for me? Financial safety, spiritual safety, business safety, ethics. I was going to say ethicals. Ethics, principles, morals, values. What does integrity look like for me? What is integrity to me? How do I actually want to represent myself outside of these labels and this identity that I've actually attached myself to, that source said, that spirit said, no. You want to have an identity is what you do. Not who you are, what do you do? And now I actually have the answer. I know what I do. I had to discover, I had to cultivate what I actually do. Baking was just something outside of, well, not outside. Baking was something within me that I do, but to my root, to my core, what do I do? I'm a bae. I'm being aligned every day, but I'm a LIFEGASM specialist. I do life. I live intentionally faithful every day by applying guided alignment spiritual mastery. LIFEGASM. Me serving as your LIFEGASM specialist. That is my service to you, to give you another gasm, guided awareness, sparking metamorphosis. What I say to you will spark something within you that will change. Because that's what we're supposed, that is the divine assignment. That was the agreement. That was the agreement. And what I agreed to had to make sense. Awareness sparks metamorphosis. Metamorphosis requires alignment. Alignment practice repeatedly develops mastery, and mastery creates deeper awareness, and then awareness becomes alchemy. So then the question asks, well, can the life that I am asking for, does it have somewhere safely to land with what I, on the foundation that I've built? Well, what I just said, absolutely. Absolutely. There's a whole manual that was created. Method to the mindness. Being mindful instead of having your mind full. Mine says workbook. Yours actually says manual because it is a manual. It is just one of a root that you dive into. And then with 7 days of self, you're actually dealing with yourself every day. You're being mindful every day. You're choosing to be conscious. You're choosing to be aware. And because of that awareness, you act before, you don't act beforehand. You're observing. You know what I'm saying? You're integrating. You're reprogramming. You're taking what no longer serves you. Okay? You're the 4 P's that's also in Method to the Madness. You're pausing, perceiving, processing, and then proceeding. And a lot of the times, you know, when we talk to people, we realize they're not really doing that. Not really taking the time to sit with themselves. Not really taking the time to actually sit in silence. People look at me crazy because I say I sit in silence. I sit outside. In the quiet. I want to be quiet sometimes. How can you hear source if you're not quiet? How can you receive the downloads if you're not quiet? How will you know what really needs your attention if you're just automatically just running and running and running and running and running and going 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 like the Energizer Bunny? How? So what am I strengthening beneath the life I desire? Am I ready for those responsibilities that require the sustainability? And what will I do when it may feel like I'm failing or get discouraged? We really gonna talk about that, but I want to start on number one. I want to make number three number one. What will I do when it may feel like I'm failing or I'm getting discouraged? How perfect that is, given that this is the root chakra and we're grounding ourselves, gaining some stability and some safety, okay, and security foundation. And that's something that's so important, because there are going to be days where you're not going to always have a high. And then there's going to be moments where they're not going to always be lows. And then there's moments where they're going to be in between. Things are just neutral. Nothing's good, nothing's bad. But you have to get into the mindset and discipline yourself to be neutral at all times. When you detach and you don't have any expectations, things become easier to navigate. Detach, no expectations, easier navigation. Bars. But when you are feeling like you're failing, or when you're feeling like you're, you know what I'm saying, it may seem like you're getting discouraged, you have to remind yourself why you even started. And then be truthful. Because if you remind yourself why you even started and how you felt when the idea first came to you, and you don't get excited all over again, you know what I'm saying, there's not a spark that's up in there because there's refinement that needs to be done, it's not for you. You need to leave it alone. That don't mean try something different, because you're going to find yourself in the same loop. And you don't want to be, you know what I'm saying, consistently finding something to be inconsistent about. No, you're going to have to stick with it. Which is why before anything business-wise or whatever the case may be, you have to ask yourself, if money wasn't involved, if I wasn't getting paid at all to do this whatsoever, what would I really be doing? What would I have joy doing? That's where you start. And then in the manual, when you're redoing the programming, when you find that out, then you're able to create a new program for yourself to operate on. You're not going off somebody else's. So what you gonna do when you feeling like I'm failing? Tell me somebody that ended up being successful in their own way, and they said they gave up. The moment they gave up, that's when they got it. I don't know no other way to achieve something and to sustain something other than, Ashe, continue to practice. And whatever area is sensitive at, well, that's where you need to mature at. You're going to have to grow up. Then you ask yourself, am I ready to grow up? And then you have to be truthful with yourself in that area as well. Am I ready for those responsibilities that require the sustainability, which flows into you're going to have to grow up? Because the responsibilities that are required require a version of you that if you have not been practicing on being, you're going to have some resistance. Because when you get tested, that foundation, that's going to crumble. If you don't have any tools or practices or methods to keep you in alignment, You're not gonna have, you're not gonna have what you've received. You're not gonna have that long. You're not gonna have that long. So, are you ready? Are you ready for the responsibilities? Are you ready to grow up? If you're not ready to grow up, then you're not going to be ready for the responsibilities. Because just as surely as life blesses you, life is definitely going to test you, baby. It's going to test that structure. It's going to test whether or not you actually have infrastructure within the structure. And do you? What you're building, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it safe? Not for nobody else, for you. Is it safe for you? Are you going to be okay? Because this is your life. What am I strengthening beneath the life I desire? It's your life. So what are you strengthening? Are you strengthening your body? Are you strengthening your mind? Are you strengthening your finances? Are you strengthening your resources? Are you strengthening your home? What are you doing? Because you can't just talk about it, babe. You got to be about it every day. And that is where we get into, and I'm definitely going to do a full segment on that. Achievement versus embodiment. You, just because you achieve something, that doesn't mean you embody the person that it, you know what I'm saying, the person that it takes to sustain the very thing that you achieved. You can achieve a relationship. Anybody can achieve a relationship, but if they have not embodied the characters that it take and have healed and done the inner work to sustain a healthy relationship, well, it's not going to last now, is it? Hmm. And for me, the reflection question, what did I cultivate from today's self-gasm? For me, I was able to cultivate a deep sureness, a deep, a deeper, let me say that, a deeper, I was able to cultivate a deeper sureness within myself, because today served as a reminder that what I have been building, what I have been building, my life can safely land. Wow. Oh my gosh. Oh, that just gave me chills, because y'all, I asked a question during a reading months ago. And I asked if I was safe enough to breathe. I asked if I could breathe. I asked if I was safe to land. And now, hindsight. Oh, this is so good. I never got an answer. I never got an answer until today. On the foundation day, on sustainability day, on the root day, on a sacred day, Spirit has answered something I asked. And because of where I am anchored I real deal comprehend why now it's safe for me to land. Oh my gosh. I am so grateful. And you know, one of my fortune cookies today said that there is strength in unity. And then the other one said, be indifferent to snide remarks. And I love that because if I had really allowed snide remarks and the hate and just the envy, the jealousy, the traps, if I just, all of these things, if I just allowed those things to get to me, everything that has made its way as physical evidence wouldn't have been. And it's just a reminder to continue to not give a damn. Also, the fact that there is strength in unity. Realizing that because I am selective of whom I choose to be in union with, that is where the strength lies. Because those that are in my circle, in the tribe, they are very much so unwavering. And just as strong. Wow. Yeah. Oh yeah, this is just so good. I am guiding you all back to the shore. If you have made it thus far, I appreciate you. Leave me a heart or a tree. Magic wand, perhaps. Yes, indeed. I love you all to life. And I desire that I really put something on your mind today. I really do desire that you got a mind, guys. Wholeheartedly. And I'll see you all tomorrow on Soulful Sunday. Toodles. One is the loneliest number that you'll ever do.